US President Donald Trump says Washington is expecting an answer from Tehran on its latest proposals to end more than 2 months of fighting. Trump told reporters outside the White House that he expected an answer by yesterday. But an Iranian foreign ministry spokesperson said Tehran was not paying attention to deadlines. The proposal would formally end the war before holding talks on more contentious issues, including Iran's nuclear program. Recent days have seen the biggest flare-ups in fighting in and around the Strait of Hormuz since a ceasefire began a month ago. Well, earlier I spoke to Mehrzad Boroujerdi. He is an expert on Iran and Middle Eastern politics at Missouri University of Science and Technology. And I asked him how far apart the two sides are right now in their understanding of what a ceasefire actually looks like.
You know, we have the flare-ups, but the ceasefire is still holding because I believe both sides are reluctant to restart, a hot conflict again. This is where we are. You know, they are bargaining over the terms of whatever agreement that they have to sign eventually. The Iranians have really come to view President Trump as a man who boasts beyond his actual capabilities, so they are not going to end the war on his terms. So basically, I think this is what is frustrating President Trump, and therefore, every once in a while, he comes out and makes a mistake of threatening to wipe out, nuke, Iran, etc., which, frankly, I think unites almost all Iranians against him and makes it difficult for Tehran to try to make any concessions. So, in a way, Tehran views this, yes, as part of a political theater for a domestic, audience in the United States. But let's keep in mind that there is also a domestic audience in Tehran as well that they need to, appease. And I think that's part of the dilemma that we are facing at the moment.
Is Iran using time as leverage, or does the leadership genuinely see no acceptable deal on the table?
No, I think they are using the time, to their advantage, thinking that basically they are going to extract further concessions from the United States in terms of the negotiations. Look, they know they have to come to an agreement eventually because the state of the economy is in a mess, really. And if the government is really interested in staying in power, which of course they are, they know that they need to, finish this conflict and attend to domestic issues that is going to be posing a formidable challenge for them for months, if not years to come.
What are the core issues that are preventing the ceasefire from taking a pathway to ending the war?
Right. I think there is really a few issues. If you were to put things into sort of, three different buckets in terms of issues that are, separating the two sides, I would say the easy one, the yes bucket, is basically Iran agreeing to immediate inspections by the IAEA by saying that it is not going to pursue a nuclear weapon for it to get certain sanctions relief and release of some frozen assets. The maybe bucket has to do with what is going to happen with Iran's roughly 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium, whether it's going to be diluted, whether it's going to be shipped out of the country, etc. And also what type of compensation, if any, Iran is going to get for the war in terms of transit fees in the Strait of Hormuz or some other way. And then there is, I think, the no bucket. If the United States insists on dismantling the entirety of Iran's nuclear facility, I don't think they will go for it. Insistence on Iran giving up its missiles is absolutely a no-no because the Iranians view that as their only, defensive weapon that they have at their disposal.
You mentioned the Strait of Hormuz, and that remains one of the main pressure points, we'll say, in this standoff. How central is the Strait to Iran's negotiating strategy right now?
It's really huge. Look, we know that 20% of the world's oil used to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Basically, 130 ships used to sail through the strait at any given day before the war started. And now Iran has found out that it really has a huge leverage. I mean, just look at the oil fuel shortages, the oil prices, etc., that we are seeing. So this is going to be a newly found ace that Iran is going to use. It's going to use it now to reach a ceasefire, and it's going to keep it in its back pocket for any type of future conflicts vis-a-vis the United States, as well as the neighboring states sitting in the Persian Gulf. What has happened, in my view, is that President Trump has unwittingly strengthened the hands of the hardliners, and these hardliners are now trying to milk this leverage as best as they can. Therefore, you see that they have littered this narrow strait with mines. They have closed it, even though China, which is Iran's most important trading partner, has advised them to open it. So they are using it as part of the mutual shutdown and the stand down that needs to happen in the Gulf for us to really get to the next stage, which is addressing the more problematical issues of Iran's nuclear activities and the like.
I just want to ask you one question there about China, which you mentioned. Now, this situation that we're in at the moment comes as President Trump prepares to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping, with Iran expected to be on the agenda. How much influence does China actually have over Iran at this point?
China has a lot of influence on Iran. As I said, it's the major trading partner. It has helped Iran with a lot of, weapons and intelligence infrastructure, equipments, and the like. So the Iranians, listen carefully to what China says. But look, we are at the moment that the Iranian regime is experiencing what I call an existential angst, and therefore the advice of friends or what they do to neighboring states like Qatar, UAE, etc., is not their top concern, right? To them, this is a life and death issue. And I'm sure the Iranian foreign minister who went to China just last week has made clear that point to the Chinese, and hoping that the Chinese government will use that in their interactions with President Trump to try to really find a way to speed up this ceasefire and an eventual agreement between the two sides.
All right, well, we're going to have to leave it there, but really great to get those insights and that analysis from you. Mehrzad Boroujerdi from the Missouri University of Science and Technology. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.